You hate yourself? Do you have social anxiety around normal people? Do you like miserable, depressed guys? Do you want to see the movie that was the star-making performance for the most miserable, self-hating, depressed, socially anxious guy in Hollywood history? Last night I watched High Sierra, a 1 hour 40-minute 1940 film noir directed by Raoul Walsh and starring Humphrey Bogart and Ida Lupino. And it's just funny that this is the movie that made him a star because he is just so miserable and self-hating and depressed and socially anxious in this. I say funny because his on-screen persona would go on, for me, to be defined by an ability to portray many different facets of self-hatred and burning rage. And the American people saw this performance and thought, yeah, give me more of that, we love it. I mean, look how Bogart acts every time he's in this normal girl's house. It's such a wonderfully physical performance. I don't know if any of my dear viewers have social anxiety or self-loathing out there, but speaking as someone who has friends that have it, that feeling of uncomfortableness in normal people's rooms, like when you meet someone who doesn't own 1964 movies on disc, in my eyes, along with Laird Krieger, he was the very best at portraying that kind of I'd rather be anywhere but here type of energy. In this movie, in pretty much all of his movies, Bogart would rather be anywhere else than wherever he is at the moment. I don't know that I've seen a single frame of a Bogart movie aside from The Big Sleep where he looks truly happy. It's always twinged with a kind of sadness, some kind of internal joke, some kind of knowledge that this isn't going to work out, life can't work out. And even in The Big Sleep, the movie is about him finding a woman as self-destructive as he is. And by the end, you're like, well, no chance this works out in the long term, but at least he's got someone to match his freak, Thelma and Louise style. Plot-wise, this movie's a lot like The Getaway, which I reviewed on my channel a short while ago. Bogart plays Roy Earl, a recently released bank robber who gets let out of prison by a powerful friend so that he can lead a heist. And along the way, he meets a couple of guys, one of whom is Arthur Kennedy, who is very young in this. Kennedy, as a quick aside, because I love shouting out my boys, was one of the great stage actors of the 20th century, originating a lot of Arthur Miller plays, and he was the drunk dad in A Summer Place, which is an insane movie that is the origin of a popular TikTok song. There's a video on my channel for that too. Apologies for the shameless plugs. Bogart meets Ida Lupino, who is also incredible in this, and who is a nightclub dancer that the boys have picked up that wants to stay. And he quickly realizes that she's much better at crime than the other two, and she starts to love him. But he doesn't want to love her because of what she represents. She represents him, basically, and he hates himself. This is kind of a reverse of The Big Sleep in a way. Instead of wanting to get his freak on as in The Big Sleep, in this movie he's chasing after a poor young girl with clubfoot that's moving to Los Angeles. He's trying to get her fixed up, thinking that she might see something in him if he pays for her surgery. He might be able to stop being a miserable, depressed, grumpy guy if only this nice lady from a nice family will just save him. And well, you can imagine how that will work out. This is a fantastic movie. Also, there's a sick car chase in this. Oh, and I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't also shout out Ida Lupino, who was, quote, widely regarded as the most prominent female filmmaker working in the 1950s during the Hollywood studio system. Her movie The Hitchhiker is really quite good, so would highly recommend checking her stuff out. And finally, I have to do a content warning. This movie does have a very racist character played by Willie Best, aka Sleep and Eat, so yeah, just FYI. I would highly recommend watching the video done on him by Professor Miriam Petty, which Criterion included with the disc, and is also available on the Criterion channel streaming online. I'll link to it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please like and follow if you want more.